Welcome to a brand new episode of the Pack Mentality Poppins podcast, episode number 136. I'm one of your co-hosts, Brian Reinhardt. The other co-host, he's out in Iowa, so that means we're taping this early.
Got a big
But-
match tonight. Trent's wrestling tonight.
Yeah, well, you're ruining it here because I'm not posting this for another week. So, full disclosure, we're doing this podcast as an ACC tournament or championship preview, but because of schedules and just other stuff, we're taping this early. So,
Nothing wrong
As
with that. We still can talk wrestling all day long.
we can talk. And as you can see, he has chimed in. So I'm joined by the head coach of the Wolfpack, Pat Pabalizio, from the home office today, it looks like.
Yeah, right now we're here, still getting stuff done though. As you know, podcast is happening.
Podcast is happening. It's great. I texted you earlier, asked you if you could do a podcast. You said, let me work out. About 20 minutes after that, I guess you worked out for a good 20 minutes. We're jumping on. We're ready to go.
I'm on the Brian Reinhardt training schedule.
No, I tell you what, I get up before work every day and go to the gym. It is fantastic.
Must be nice to be at work at noon.
No, you get a good sweat going, start your day, hit a little bit of a bump in the afternoon, but that's why we're taping this podcast, to pick us both up here. But
Beautiful day to do it.
It is. Raleigh, 74 degrees and sunny in February.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's what I love about living down here in North Carolina.
It is great weather. Anybody that wants to have great weather, come down and wrestle at NC State. There's your marketing pitch right there. But Pat, you guys finished with duels. Everybody talks about March. We got ACCs coming up, NCAs coming up. Different mindset in the room since you guys came back from Virginia Tech, now that it is championship time.
Yeah, it's good. This is, you reflect on the season with the dual meets, you get the experience that you need. And, as you hit the postseason, this is where it comes down to the individuals accomplishing their personal goals, which bleed into the team aspect. So both are on the line and both are going to be important, but you always want to see guys finish out and accomplish their goals. 2 opportunities to do it, obviously starting with the conference tournament and then setting you up to have a, good momentum going into NCAs.
Going to talk about that conference tournament. It comes up Sunday, March 9th at Duke, March 8th. It's on the Sunday.
Yeah, it is Sunday. And I saw a tweet yesterday, said it's the first time since 1998 for Duke hosting, which is,
Absolutely.
I think for them, and obviously nice to be close to home. So it works in both ways here. Maybe we'll get you out of the house Sunday.
Yeah, well, it's an earlier start this year too. Oh,
Amber alert!
Yeah, both of our phones just erupted.
That was your phone.
Yeah, I didn't even turn.
I had mine off, but it apparently jumps through that.
Yeah, well, you always text me when we're doing this, so I always leave my phone on. Yeah. But over at Duke, like you said, it's kind of exciting. Because they're in Cameron with basketballs. They never had a chance to host this before. It used to be on Saturdays, but now because the ACC wrestling has moved to Sunday, opportunity, 2 mats over in Cameron. Great place for some Wolfpack fans to get over there, wear their red, and support NC State.
Yeah, it's going to be great venue. That is a unique venue, and it'll be nice to have a lot of wrestling people in there and show good support for the ACC wrestling, which I think we usually Sundays draw a decent crowd. So it's going to be good, exciting, and having a lot of good wrestling this year. A lot of ranked guys going to be in that tournament.
I was going to say a lot of ranked guys added a team this year. Stanford coming over. So now 7 teams. So a little bit different format. Starts an hour earlier. Only 1 bye this year because the top seed will get a bye. Everybody else goes. Advantage, disadvantage. Did you like your guys to get a bye, or would you rather them just get out there and get that first round going?
It always depends on the individual, but and then as you get into smaller tournaments, sometimes having that match could help. But now I think it evens things out, and it's going to be different. You throw another team in there, new faces, and then new schedule. I think it's a different kind of tournament. So it should be exciting and fun to go out and compete and see who shows up that weekend to be the best team.
Totally got off track here, but wanted to circle back a little bit. You guys went up to Virginia Tech, won 3 matches. Singleton, great major decision. Fishback kind of got over that hump. He beat Stewart, and Isaac in a really great heavyweight battle. But Virginia Tech came away the 21-10 win. What did you tell your guys after that duel coming back end of the season with the loss there in that last match?
Offense, when you look across the board, there wasn't enough offense. and we talked a little bit about it, 9 takedowns total in the whole entire dual meet. 3 of them, 3 matches, no takedowns scored. And I don't think that's fair to any wrestling fan that's wanting to see high level wrestling. And that's something we've got to do a better job. And there's got to be points on the board and make it more entertaining. So I think it was a good time, good reality check of, hey, we're not where we need to be, and there's plenty of time. We've watched guys across the board lose in dual meets and come back and have a really good showing come ACCs and NCAs. So there's still a lot of wrestling left, and this is, it's a dual meet. Want to win those, but if you can't, we got to learn, get better, and I think we're going to see some guys respond very well. I know there's some motivated guys who, had some letdowns, and sometimes it's what you need in our sport. You gotta go back and see why these things happen, and you got time to fix them. Whether it's weight management, whether it's not being aggressive enough, whether it's not closing out a ride, getting off. But there's so many variables that can go into winning a match or losing a match. The good news is everyone we saw during the dual meet season and conference, we're going to see them all again and see who makes their adjustments.
Some good news coming out of the end of the regular season. NC State, you guys did finish atop the regular season, dual champions once again. You can't even call it co-champions, kind of tri-champions here, but you had the dreaded triangle of teams. NC State, Virginia Tech, UNC all went 1-1, all considered co-champions, but that was also impressive. You guys finished in the top 10 yet again in the NWCA coaches poll. 9 straight years finishing in that top 10. And not just that, but you guys have been in the top 10 every week in the last 9 years. And I know you're a big proponent of it. You love it. You say duels matter. And these are kind of the rewards that you get with your guys being up for these duels.
Yeah, I do. I think they're for the fans. Obviously, they're for us as, we like competing and like winning. But I think you switch to the dual meet aspect. That's for fans, bragging rights, and all the fun stuff that goes along with the competition. And honestly, if you look back from the start of the season, on paper, our lineup looked a lot different from what we thought it was going to be. So I was impressed of how the guys were able to compete and piece together this dual season. We had a totally different makeover with a lineup that, when you look at a year ago from this conference tournament, on paper looked very promising. And then with some guys moving on, some guys moving up, some guys redshirting, it was a complete makeover. But I was impressed with the level of competition and improvement that this team made, and still got a lot of time left to improve on this season. But to finish out where we were, I think it's going to piece together a very good dual meet lineup as we continue to move forward.
And we're moving forward to the ACC Championships. Pat, we don't have seeds. We don't have allocations. Are you ready to give the fans the best preview we can?
Let's go. I think we have a great idea where things are going to play out.
We do. And I already gave you all mine, and you kind of agreed with all of them. So we're always on the same page. I like that. But, let's get wild. Let's start at 125. Vince Robinson, first ACC championship. 125 to me, I think it's the most improved weight class in this conference. It's been very top heavy every year, but now it could be looking at 4 or 5 allocations. Vince is coming off his first loss of the season, but he's a guy you want to see wrestle in these championships.
Yeah, he's going to make his adjustments and get back to, the way that he was wrestling, scoring a lot of points. And I think that's what's going to make the difference for him. I'm excited to see him compete in his first ACC championship, and especially coming off a loss. I mean, if that doesn't motivate you to go out and really let things fly, I don't know what else there is. And I know as much as a competitor he is, I think this was perfect timing for him to make that next jump and do the things that he's looking to do. And still the goal going out and competing to win a national title is still there in front of him.
133, 2-time defending ACC champion Kai Arini, but a little bit different this year. He's taken some losses in the weight class, so he's not the top seed. He's going to be about in the middle of the pack, but he's won the last 2. He always turns it on in March. ACC championships, All-American honors, and that's what you need from Kai right now.
No doubt about it. I don't think we've seen his best wrestling yet. I think we've seen some good wrestling, but, this is a good time for him to shine and come out and wrestle free. and score points and get back to riding on top. You know, you look at, for the most part, outside of the Stanford match, a lot of these matches were neck and neck with the score. So he's not far out of reach with a lot of those matches. And if he can make those adjustments and clean up a couple things, he's going to be right in the mix of things. And this is where you got to rely on your experiences, and that's what we're expecting out of Kai.
141, you guys, actually, it's kind of gone back and forth there the last month. So who do you see going at 141 for you guys?
We're still evaluating that right now. We got Tyler Tracy, who's, you know, got thrown into the lineup as probably starting at 49, then making that drop down, and did a lot of good things for us. And then, you know, giving Troy Holman an opportunity to bump up, showed a lot of promise with a win against Stanford. So kind of threw a curveball at us, and as a staff, we're evaluating on what direction we're going to go. Still up in the air, but it's going to be a decision that we got to make probably in the next couple of days.
Well, yeah, I would hope you make it before the championship. So you hit mute on yourself too. So
I know there's people.
Oh man, there's an audience. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got till I want to say Thursday of next week. There's a deadline to make it, but we're going to evaluate a couple things, see where we're at. But we'll have guys that are going to show up and compete at 41.
Unique situation. You have one guy coming down, one guy going up, competing for that same weight class. What do you think's harder to do in the middle of a season?
They're both tough. I can tell you what I know most guys like doing is going up, not down. So there's pros and cons to that, though. So, but yeah, Troy's savvy enough that he can do that, and you know, Tracy's, when he makes weight and is, you know, feeling good, he can compete too. So it's going to be one of those to see who's looking their best and feeling fresh.
149, another first timer, Coy Bizkins. He's about in the middle of the pack too. I've been really impressed. His defense has been phenomenal this year. He wrestled really well at Virginia Tech. He just needs to find his offense. I think that's the next step here.
100%. And you go back to a lot of the matches he lost, you know, outside of maybe the North Carolina match, that one scramble that separated that match. He has been in one takedown matches across the board. And if he can clean those up, he's going to be a problem in postseason. So he's gained valuable experience. He stayed in the fight, and he is not, you know, a lot of times that can be a little challenging on freshmen and discouraging. You take so many losses. But that hasn't been the case. I think you see it every week. He comes back to the line and fights and improves, and he's going to get rewarded because of that. And no better time to do it than the NCAs and ACCs. It's a perfect scenario for a freshman. Those are the ones that can be dangerous.
157, dreaded triangle once again at the top here with Virginia Tech, NC State, Pitt, all going 1-1 against each other. So we don't know how the seeds are going to play out, but those top three guys, we know who they are. But Ed Scott, he's won 2 of these before. He knows how to get it done at ACCs, and this is his last chance to etch his name in that record book with a 3-time ACC champion.
Yeah, the experiences that Ed has encountered over the years, I think this is something he's got to use to his advantage. That is going to be that weight class across the board. I think everyone's pretty even. One thing I do like about Ed is he shows up and competes his best in March. I think he's shown that, and that's something that's got to bring confidence to him, and he's got to go out and execute and score points and be gritty and tough on top. But he's wrestling, he's in shape, and you know, a lot of those matches that he was in can flip very easily, and that's just something, whether it's ACCs or NCAs, we're going to run across someone that we probably took a loss to, and we got to flip that. And I feel confident that Ed has those experiences right now to go do that.
Derek Fields at 165 returns to the ACC Championships. He was there last year. I mean, we're guessing he's going to be about the 3 seed. He didn't see the returning champion Hamilton from UVA, but that'd be a great matchup. And Stanford's there too, obviously. But 165, all those guys, they were all close this year too. 1 takedown bouts. Fields coming off a loss at Virginia Tech, but he's really improved in the last month of the season.
Yeah, he showed, you know, from where we started in November to now, wrestling consistently, free, and is in shape. I think he's made some good jumps. And, you know, you go back I think the experiences he gained from last year wrestling in the conference tournament and the NCAAs makes him more ready for this opportunity. And he's right in the mix of things. And I think it's going to come down to belief and confidence when he goes out and wrestles next Sunday. So I'm excited to see who shows up and what he wants to accomplish, because when he wrestles, he's got all the tools it takes to beat anyone in the country.
174. I said 125 most improved. I think 174 is the deepest. I think very easily 5 ACC allocations here. And good luck trying to seed these guys. The top 2, I think UNC, Stanford, but then there's the triangle yet again. You have Pitt, NC State, Virginia Tech. They're all there. But Maddie Singleton, great win up at Virginia Tech. Really kind of broke through, got a great move, 7-point move in that first period, broke things wide open. You've seen Singleton here now he's been in the lineup the full year at that weight. What do you think of his chances going in he's actually going into his second ACC championship?
Yeah. And I think it's important to note, you go back to 2 years ago, when that freshman year that he got to wrestle in the ACCs and fell short. This is when you got to go back and have a good reminder of that, those pains that you felt and the emotions that you felt with that tournament and not getting what you wanted by qualifying and having the opportunity to compete at NCAAs. You got to use this, and that's got to fuel the fire. And I think that's something we're going to see with Maddie. And one thing I liked about him, the tougher places we've gone into an environment, he's elevated his game. He did that in a tough situation in a dual meet with a lot of people that are cheering against you. Not only at Virginia Tech, but when we went to Oklahoma State, he wrestled 2 guys who were returning All-Americans and competed very well. Yeah, he didn't win the one. He did win this last one, but he competed. And I think, that's the same thing that's going to come down to Sunday. You just got to compete and give yourself the opportunity. But, I think there's 5 guys that are right in the mix to win that weight class, and it's going to come down who's wrestling best on Sunday.
Singleton's probably like you. He loves being booed on the road. That's your MO.
It's good. Hey, some guys fuel off that. So
you're a heel in real life. We know that.
It's all good. I don't mind it. Comes with the territory.
184, unique stat. Top 4 seeds. They were the top 4 finishers last year. They all know each other very well. Fishback finally beat Stewart from Virginia Tech, but he lost to Heller from Pitt. Those 2 have a nice rivalry. Kane, again, much improved this year. The top 4 of that weight class, very good. And Fishback made the finals last year, but now his goal is to win that championship.
Yeah, it is interesting because those guys are very familiar with each other. So who's going to show up? Who's going to let it fly? Who's is going to be the one that comes out on top for that? But it's going to be a weight class that has a lot of good talent. And I do like where Fishback's at and the way that he's competing and wrestling. He's probably looked the best he has in his career. And this is a good time to go execute and do the things that we know he's capable of doing. But I think he showed a lot of growth, in the last couple of weeks, the way he's competing. So I'm excited for his ACCs and NCAAs.
197, Christian Knopp. We said many times in this podcast, first year in the lineup. It's his last year at NC State, so this will be his only chance to compete for an ACC title. He's been in a lot of matches this year too. Hasn't come out on the top of some of them, but he's got to be motivated since this is his only chance.
Yeah, you get the opportunity, you got to take advantage of it, and that's what we're expecting from Knopp. He's shown that he's in every match with a lot of these guys. He's got to go out and take care of business, but take advantage of that opportunity. And it should be, a weight class that's probably going to have a few allocations, so there's going to be a lot of opportunity there for him.
Special guest. He let the dogs out over there.
Yeah, I'm dog watching.
Oh, that's nice of you. See, you clocked out though. You're not on salary right now, I would assume.
No, I'm doing the podcast, so we're good.
Okay, we're good. Oh yeah, that's true. Well, I don't get paid for this, so it doesn't matter that way. But all right, last heavyweight. The weight we're guaranteed we know. Trumbull will be the 1 seed. He bonused everybody. Tough match against Mullen, but that was one of the best bouts I think I've seen. Mullen got the takedown in the second. Isaac had to get a takedown in the third. And you know what you're going to get out of Isaac. He might scare you a little bit getting some of those funky scrambles, but he's been in the ACC title twice at 197. This is his chance to continue the heavyweight tradition at NC State and get a title.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was, when you look at what you're looking for in those dual meets and matches. I think heavyweight was a great example of that. Two guys that went after it, and a lot of good action. Even though the score wasn't crazy high, there was a lot of good action for the most part for a heavyweight match. And I do think the ACC for heavyweight is pretty deep right now. I think you're going to have anywhere between 4 to 5 allocations in that. So I think that shows the depth that the ACC has. And Isaac's going to be locked in as the 1 seed because he did win all his matches and head to head with Virginia Tech. So he'll get a first round bye, and then he's got to take care of business from there. But it's going to be another good opportunity for him to go out and compete against, pretty good level of competition in heavyweight.
Patrick, it's a coach's vote. Nothing's ever locked in. You know this.
Yeah, that one's going to be locked in. There's no way we can get around that one. But there's no triangle there. And he did wrestle in every heavyweight match. So
he did. But I can't tell you how many years you've called me after these seats come out to say, how the heck did they vote him this spot? So
no, it's all
good.
But
all joking aside, you guys have won 6 straight, going for a 7th. Kind of unprecedented here. I doubt we'll see this again, this kind of streak, but very good performances in the past. What do you guys have to do to win another ACC championship?
We've got to show up, compete, and be aggressive and score points. You got to win those matches that we let slip away during the season. If there was a 1-point match or 2-point match, we've got to win those. And it's going to be a nail biter, I think, with the way the teams are all played out. I think it's going to be pretty even across the board with a lot of seeding. But I don't think seeding is going to dictate who wins or loses this tournament. I think it's going to come down to who wants it and shows up and gets their hand raised at the end of the day. And there's going to be a lot of tight, close matches, and throwing a new team in there makes for good excitement. So guys got to be excited to compete and excited to put on a show for fans. And that's, I think, going to be the difference between winning it as a team or winning it as an individual, is who's willing to go out and take risks.
I was going to say, how do you balance that come championship time, letting it fly to maybe I shouldn't be going for a shot here? I don't want to be countered. What's the balance like?
Well, sometimes you get in a dual meet. Some guys might be analyzing the situation a little bit. Like, there's a lot more risk if you make a mistake in a dual meet. In a tournament, you got room to recover, and a lot of it, you're out there for yourself. You got your own personal goals you're trying to accomplish, and you're representing a team. So sometimes the tournament settings can be a little different, and some guys feel better about wrestling in a tournament. Some guys like the dual meets, but I think this year's team is going to do and geared well towards the tournament aspect. That just the way our lineup was set, and some of the newer guys and more experienced guys, I think makes for a good tournament team.
An all-day affair at the ACCs. I believe weigh-ins are at 8 a.m.
It means we're leaving the hotel at 5:45, Brian.
I tell you what, we joke about it, but the ACC Championship, it's a great event, no doubt. Love 2 mats, but it's a long day.
It's, for an athlete, it is a very long day between getting there on time to make sure guys make weight. And if you're wrestling in the finals, that last match could kick off at 10 o'clock. So you can see the time frame that you're in there. And I'm sure, guys are antsy to get up, and that night of sleep before sometimes might be a little challenging for some guys. Some guys sleep like a baby, but at the end of the day, everyone's in the same situation, and you gotta go out and compete.
Great preview, considering we had no information and no details whatsoever, but I feel like we crushed it.
For sure.
For sure.
You got a lot of good experience.
Yeah. Great wrap up here, Pat. But fans, ACC Championships come up. Get over to Duke. Going to be a great day. Lots of great wrestling. 2 mats going on at one. Always exciting. Pat, I appreciate you taking the time. I know we don't always get your time anymore.
Hey, I'm not the one that's, sneaking around my lunch break. So
we'll let you get back to the office. I know you're not there right now, so hopefully you can get back, get some work done this afternoon.
Yep.
Could have went into a whole politics thing, but we're not going to do that here. So,
okay.
But ACC Championships coming up, Pat. We're excited. I know your guys are excited. What are you expecting this last few days of practice to be like?
I think the intensity is going to be good. The focus needs to be sharp. And, as you zone in and you get a week out, you got to make sure you have the discipline. So your body's getting well rested and you're not overtraining, and some of that could be weight management. You don't want guys really putting extra workouts in a day or two before just to get their weight off. You want guys to feel fresh, and you don't know, with the 7 teams right now in the conference, there's guys that could have 5 matches in one day. So you got to, if you encounter that situation, you got to be ready for it and have your legs and mind ready to compete. So you got to be ready for anything. And, at the end of the day, you control your own destiny. I know they have wild cards for kids to get to the conference tournament or national tournament, but you control your own destiny. So if that's your goal, you got to go and accomplish that.
I know the ACC staff and Brandon Neff will have plenty of refreshments for you coaches throughout the day. They always take care of you guys. So he'll make sure you get your coffee.
Yeah. And SID used to have a nice little room, but now that you're going to have the free time, you'll be able to escape in between some sessions and go get a snack or two.
I caught Coach
good food.
I caught Coach Hall between sessions last year. We were both outside for a while. So yes, you need to take that break and step outside. It's too long to be inside all day.
I agree.
Pat, thanks for catching us up. Wolfpack fans, ACC Championships upcoming. Going to be a great time of year. We only have 2 competitions left to see this Wolfpack squad. This is another episode of the Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast covering NC State wrestling. Until next time, go Pack.